Welcome back to Design Bundles YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Crystal, and today we are going to make a welcome sign. So we're going to be using one of those wood rounds. This is from Hobby Lobby, but you can definitely get them at your local craft store. So it's just like this, nice and thick. So I believe that this is a 12-inch round. So the very first thing I want to do is paint it with some white chalk paint. Today I'm using the new StarCraft Chalk Mineral Paint in white, and then I'm going to use just a little foam brush. So I want to paint this all the way around the sides as well as the front white. We may do one or two coats of that. I've already pre-cut out some adhesive vinyl. So I did this in matte black and brown. So these are adhesive. You could definitely do a removable or permanent for this. And I just cut this out with my Cricut. You could definitely do it with your Silhouette. It's pretty basic. You're just going to size these out. So we're gonna go ahead and weed those in just a second. I've got a wireless glue gun here heating up. I'm using the Lynn Lily. I'll have it linked down below. We've got some ribbon here, glue sticks. I'm gonna be using the Bow Dabber. They actually make a smaller one, which would be perfect for this as well. If you purchase one of these, I think you can get them as cheap as like 20 bucks. They're great to have on hand for creating your bows for projects like this. Now, I really would have preferred using like a 2-inch ribbon, but this is what I could find, and that's what we're gonna use today. I've got a little bit of floral wire here, as well as some eucalyptus. So I've got some of this as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So the very first thing let's do is let's go ahead and paint this so it can dry. This is gonna dry very fast, so I don't have to worry about dry time for 30 minutes or anything like that. Because while this is drying, I can then go and weed this. You could paint this and then cut it out and weed. So that way you guys can already have it ready. So we're just gonna go ahead and go straight from the container here. If you need to, you want to stir that up or shake it a little bit. And we're just going to dip right in. I've got myself a parchment paper underneath to protect my surface. So I'm just going to go ahead and go all the way around and paint this. So if you guys have been following along, I have been doing football theme all week long. So it is fall, it is football time. So I've done some t-shirts. We've done some coffee mugs with sublimation. We've used the Silhouette as well as the Cricut. So make sure you guys definitely check all of those out. You guys let me know down below if you guys are football fans. Is it more local, or you guys like big time football? What do you guys like to do for football season? Do you guys have big parties? You know, do you guys like make shirts and all that kind of stuff? Well, let me know down below. This design that we're going to be using today is 1+ credit. So if you guys are a Plus member, it is only 1+ credit. So I'll have it linked down below for you guys. So I'm just going to quickly go all the way around this wood round. I'm really loving this chalk paint by StarCraft. Like I said, it is new. Tons of different brands out there, you guys. Whatever y'all have on hand, feel free to use it. You could also do, you know, some paint from Lowe's. You could do acrylic paint if you wanted to. Like I said, just feel free to use what you have on hand. So I'm just going to continue to paint all the way around. I'm going to give this a second to dry down, and then I'm going to go back around the side. So that way I'm not going to have to fuss around, get my hands too yucky. So as soon as this dries, I'm going to go all the way around the outside, and I think I'm going to go over this one more time. Now, while this first layer is drying down, I'm going to go ahead and start to weed this out. So I'm going to go ahead and move everything out of the way here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and start weeding these so they'll be ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get this brown one first. This is our football. So whenever it comes to making signs and things, I really love the matte. I think it looks like it's hand painted compared to the glossy. Just gonna go ahead and weed all of these pieces out just like so. The brand that I'm using today is also StarCraft. So that one is StarCraft and this one is StarCraft as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get right into this black one here. All right, so we've got all of our pieces weeded out here so you guys can see how adorable this is. Now I want to go ahead and point out that I need to separate this, right? Because these little black lines here are going to go on top of my football. So all I'm simply going to go ahead and do is take some scissors. So I had it all cut out at the exact same time, but I definitely want to separate them because these are going to go on top. All right, so just like that. So now we can go ahead and set these aside. I think we've pretty much dried down on the top. So let's go ahead and knock out our sides, and then I'll set it back down and get that top. So I'm just going to quickly zoom around this really quick. So as you guys can see here, I'm not worried about the back. I'm just going to go ahead and zoom all the way around the sides. All right, so we're going to set that back down so that way those sides can dry. And I'm going to go back into my top one more time. Now, depending on the style that you're going for, so maybe you're going for more of like a whitewash, then I would definitely just do one coat. I definitely think one coat would be good, but I really want it to be white. I don't want any of that wood coming through. Now I'm going to let this completely dry. I'm happy with the second coat. We're going to let it completely dry. Like I said, this stuff dries within like, say 5-10 minutes. It truly does not take that long. You could definitely get your hair dryer on the low settings and kind of dry this out a little bit. And so whenever we come back, we're going to go ahead and apply our adhesive vinyl, and then we're going to get ready to glue our pieces down. While that's drying, we can go ahead and work on our bow because like I said, it takes around 5-10 minutes. So at this point, let's go ahead and work on our bow. If you guys don't have a bow dabra, you guys need one in your life. You could definitely pick these up on Amazon. We'll link one down below for you guys. So what you want to do is get yourself a tail out here. So this one's just a basic one, right? So we're going to do like a whole little loop thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get ourselves a nice size tail. And then if you guys had like a pattern going on here, you would actually just kind of twist it like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue to lay these down. So you guys can see that here. I'm just going to go ahead and figure out about how big I want my loops to be. So you see how I've kind of got that laid down there? I'm going to bring that in. So I think that's going to be a good size. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to kind of twist that a little bit. So I'm just going to twist it. I'm going to go ahead and get me a little bit more off the thing here. So we're just going to go ahead and get a twist going on there. And we're going to do that same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this over like so. Make sure I'm keeping that same length as before. And we're going to continue to repeat this process over and over. So I'm just going to make sure I'm keeping these loops. See how I've got these loops here? So you can see that. I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping those nice and even. And then we are going to go ahead and drop it down. We're just making sure we're keeping those loops the same. So you can definitely just do them like so. Just like that. So you see that? See all those loops kind of coming in? So we're just going to keep going. As many as you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep going. So I'm going to go ahead. I think I might be able to. I'm going to attempt it. See if we can come back one more time and have ourselves a tail. Yes, I think we can. I think that looks good. All right. So I'm happy with this, right? So let's go ahead and pull this little tape off the end here. All right, so you guys see that? I've got my tails. Now you could have done this beforehand. What we need to do is have our wire underneath. You could definitely do it beforehand, but I do it after. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. So now what we want to do is take us a nice little size of floral wire here. So I'm going to go ahead and just take some scissors. We'll do this. I'm going to cut it. And you always want to make sure you kind of tie that back off. So now we're going to take this wire here and we're going to put it all the way on the bottom. You could definitely start with this. That's what they recommend. You could definitely place this down first and then all your pieces, but it's easier for me. I'm just going to make sure it's all the way at the bottom. So I'm just going to kind of pull it up a little bit and we're going to fish it. So see this right here? I'm just fishing it in between the two. So I'm just going to go ahead now and lay this out nice and even here. So whenever if you need to kind of squish this down as well, you can take your little tool that it's going to come with and you can definitely squish that down. But you definitely need that if you had the 2-inch, and this would look way better. But like I said, this is all I could get my hands on. So now what I can do is, while this is still in here, you see I've kind of twisted and turned that. So I can kind of do this. And I can twist it again. And now I can pull that out, right? Because it's not going anywhere. So I can get that out of our way here. So if you were going to attach this to a wreath, you would have these extra pieces to do that, but I don't need them because I'm not doing that. So I'll clip all those off here in just a sec. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of take like this and I'm just going to pull and kind of spruce those out a little bit. Now, like I said, once again, if we were using that 2-inch, you definitely want a little bit more of a stiffer ribbon. We're just going to go ahead and play around with this a little bit until I'm happy with it. I think that looks good. It's as good as it's going to get. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take some of these little sprigs off here, probably 2 on each side. So I'm just going to take a pair of scissors here and I'm just going to go ahead and cut those down. And then I need 2 more. Something about like that. So we'll pull that tape off. So what we're going to be able to do is we're going to have these just like so on each side, and then we're going to have that ribbon right there in the middle at the top, and it's going to come in very cute. So we're going to go ahead and set these out of the way. I think this is pretty much drying down, so now we can go ahead and get prepped up and ready for our adhesive vinyl. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get me some transfer tape here so that way we can pick up our adhesive vinyl. Now definitely make sure before you do this that this has completely dried, but I'm going to go ahead and just start working on picking this up. So I'm just going to get a nice size on here. We're going to go ahead and take our squeegee here and rub this out. All right, so now this is pretty much dry. I would like it a little bit more dry, but we're gonna move on for the video's sake. But you definitely make sure you let yours dry all the way, or some of your paint can pill up with you. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is start with our football at the bottom. So we're gonna go ahead and start right down here with our football. So I'm just gonna try to get that nice and even. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna try to go right on top of my vinyl. Because my paint's not 100%, I'm just going to try to make sure I stick right on top of my vinyl so that way I don't have to worry about losing any of my paint. Okay, so what we want to do is kind of get at an angle here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with that squeegee really quick and just kind of smooth everything out. I got a little bit of paint right on top of my adhesive vinyl, but I don't have to worry about that. I can go right back in with a wipey, and we can wipe that right off. So let's go ahead and go back in with that next layer, which is our football outline here. So this is really what's going to kind of spruce that football up. So we're just going to go ahead and rub that down. You could definitely just use your fingers for this. Kind of smooth everything out. And also just definitely come back in with that squeegee. And then peel at an angle. Now we're ready for our game day. As you guys can see this coming together, how super cute is this? All right, so I got off just a little bit here, and that's okay. I think that's gonna be fine. I can go ahead and just kind of round that down just a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and rub this in. Now my paint is pretty much drying down now, so I don't have to really worry about this one as much as I did the football. So I'm just going to round that one around the corner. And we're just going to peel at an angle. So like I said, once you remove that transfer sheet, at this point, you're able to just go back in and press everything in. But look at how super cute this looks by itself. Absolutely love it. So now let's go ahead and glue down our pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue 2 of them on this side here. So I'm going to kind of be mindful of what I got going on here. I can always adjust these pieces later as well. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to have them like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just hot glue those down. So I've got my glue gun ready to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and get some hot glue here. And we're just going to go ahead and set those down. All right, so I've got plenty of glue down here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the remaining down. So I'm just going to hold these down until they really start to stick. Now we're ready to add our bow in. I'm just going to go ahead. I've already clipped off my wire here. I'm going to go ahead and take my glue and we're going to go ahead and apply it just like so. So I'm going to get these little pieces here and just kind of hold that down for a few seconds. And then you can kind of adjust these as you need to. So I'm going to go ahead and angle these ones just like this. And there you guys have it. How super cute is this? You could definitely trim these down as needed. You could do flowers if you wanted to. I definitely probably should have made these just a little bit shorter, but I think this one came out amazing. I really hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys are going to recreate it. Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.